We begin the satsang with opening prayers, intentions, calling out divine names, pure vibrations, mantras, bhajans. Mantra means man, your mind, and tra, a tool that protects or frees. And these meanings of the mantras you always keep in your mind, and the feeling is in your heart, which unlocks the power of the mantra. So the meaning: the absolute reality is full, it's perfect, it's whole, and it's complete. The universe, whole phenomenal manifested universe, proceeds from that absolute reality. When the universe, the manifested universe, is transcended by yoga, self-realization, names, forms, and activities, you see the truth, intuitive knowledge. When this dawns, what remains is perfect, whole, and complete, the absolute reality. So all is, there's no ever any lack or mistake. All is 100% whole, full. You can start with 3 ohms together, inhaling. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate. Om Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvata Sadike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Dhum Durgaye Namah. Om Dhum Durgaye Namah. Om Dhum Durgaye Namah. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namah. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namah. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namah. Om Aim Saraswatye Namah. Om Aim Saraswatye Namah. Om Aim Saraswatye Namah. Om Shri Guruve Namah. Om Shri Guruve Namah. Om Shri Guruve Namah. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundaye Viche. Namaste. Extra prayers, extra blessings, 3 goddesses, all combine into one. Navratri festival. Navratri is a festival celebrating the goddess, the mother, the divine mother, and the worship, the mystic and profound worship of God as the mother. And you see many, many goddesses and many, many gods in the pictures and the depictions. And we are going to focus on the three that are specifically having to do with yoga, the movement for a spiritual aspirant who is aiming and aspiring for one goal and one goal only: self-realization. And say, can't get my other goals. No, that all the other goals come in along the way. So you've heard about Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha are known as the four Purusharthas. The four Purusharthas are the four self-efforts. I know we're getting real fast, right? But like there's 3 goddesses and 9 nights of this festival all into one. So you be prepared for a heavyweight satsanga. So this movement that we are in is Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. All souls and all efforts that we do as human beings are in these 4 ways, these 4 directions. Critical knowledge is that if you pursue one of these 4 Purusharthas alone, you never reach the goal of enlightenment. You never reach the goal of liberation, self-realization, because Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma, if pursued on its own, does not lead to moksha, and so on and so on. So what is Dharma? Dharma is your ethical value, your ethical foundation. So our parents teach us this at a very young age, a baseline, very baseline understanding, basic level of ethical value associated with life. And we get these in the early years. And then next is Artha. Artha is your material value of life. So the means, and the means not just for material wealth, but means for spiritual wealth, which is ensuring your forward movement, ensuring your progress. Material wealth ensures your progress for your projects in the world process, in the material world. Spiritual wealth ensures your progress in your spiritual goal. And that's Artha. Artha's material value. Next is Kama. Kama is your social value, your vital value. So how we utilize our creative potential, our skills, our talents, our energies, divine, God-given energies, which are also there playing, male, female, etc., relationships, friends, family, and ways in which you channel this creativity gives you fulfillment, gives you satisfaction in the social or vital value of life, Kama. And the fourth, Moksha. Moksha is the goal for every soul. The life of your soul, birth after death after birth after death, birth after death, countless times, it's been going after something. What is it going after? Moksha. Moksha. And we never reach that because we're distracted by giving all of our attention to Dharma, all of our attention to Artha, all of our attention to Kama. So, Dharma, Artha, and Kama must serve moksha. They must be pursued, but they must be pursued and directed toward your real, essential, highest goal. So, we are going to receive the blessings from 3 goddesses in this movement. And they are Durga, Lakshmi and Saraswati. Say Shri Durga, Shri Lakshmi, Shri Saraswati, or Durga Devi, Lakshmi Devi, and Saraswati Devi. Devi means divine mother, means goddess. Deva, male, Devi, female. So these three goddesses. First, when we say God, which definitely needs to be clarified, that this word is going to be mentioned enough times in the satsang where it would help to clarify word God, how it shows up in yoga. Because people get asked the question all the time, is yoga a religion? Is yoga part of Hinduism? Is Hinduism part of yoga? These kinds of questions. So, how does yoga give you God? God is known as Brahman in yoga. Brahman, absolute reality. Spoke about it in the beginning with the prayer. The absolute reality, Brahman, is full, perfect, whole, and complete. The universe, this whole universe and all minds and bodies in it, comes from that absolute reality, Brahman. When this universe and all the differences, all the multiplicity, all the duality is transcended, what is remaining is perfect, whole, full, and complete Brahman. You! If you weren't there, exactly. People like to say, my favorite is, there is no God. The atheists say, there is no God, but if there wasn't any God of absolute reality, there wouldn't be any you. So how would you say there is no God? There would be no tongue to say it. This is a joke in the yoga. Yoga is okay. So Brahman, absolute reality, is Saguna Brahman, Sakar Brahman. So Saguna Sakar. Saguna Sakar. Saguna Nirakar. And Nirguna Nirakar. Three ways that God is spoken about and taught in yoga. First one is Saguna Sakar. Sa means with, and guna means qualities. So this is God with qualities, and Sakar with form. Kara or kar is form. So this is God with qualities, with name, qualities, attributes, and with a form. That's first level Brahman. Second level Brahman is Saguna with qualities, Nirakar, without form. So now the Shank in the hands of the gods and goddesses. Form, you see it in their hand. Now the guru, spiritual preceptor, tells you that this Shank, this conch shell, it means to signify Om. Who am I? The answer to who am I? The Atman, the Brahman. So when you're meditating upon the form of the god or goddess, you see this, and you see Saguna Sakar with qualities, means he or she who gives you knowledge of yourself, and with the form, the Shank. Now you take the form away and still meditate upon God Brahman as giver of self-knowledge, giver of all wisdom. No longer needing the form. You see how your mind is becoming more subtle and more advanced, more pure. And then last is Nirguna Nirakar. No qualities, no form. The absolute reality is very difficult to meditate upon in such an abstract way, without qualities and without form. It is that all-pervading reality, substratum of the universe. Doesn't hard for your mind, a mind that is very used to names, forms, and activities, for the mind to immediately go into Nirguna Nirakar. It's very difficult. So that's why you start with Saguna Sakar, with quality with form. Then you go with form without form and with quality, and then without quality without form. Okay, so that's Brahman, that's God. And this whole festivity, it comes from a Purana, a scripture known as the Markandeya Purana. The Markandeya Purana is written by sage Markandeya, an illumined sage, a rishi. And Markandeya in the Purana has a section called Durga Saptashati. And Durga Saptashati is where all of these teachings of the Divine Mother come. And they come in a waterfall. They come in, they never stop. A flood, a shower of blessings. And Durga Saptashati is the mystic insights into the worship of God as the Supreme Mother. And what we find is that these three incarnations, these three goddesses, Durga Devi, Lakshmi Devi, and Saraswati Devi, are all one goddess. They're all one in the same. But they show up in your sadhana at different stages. And so the whole festival of mother worship, the whole festival of Navratri, is to learn how the Divine Mother is there supporting you at all times and in all places. And to always know that you can feel and you can call out and reach out to her who appears in various stages, in various levels, and in various forms. And the three main forms are Durga, Lakshmi, and Saraswati. So let us begin the story that sage Markandeya has written in this Purana. And the story goes like this. There is a king, and this king, his name is Surata. And Surata, the king, and his friend Vaishya Samadhi have arrived at an ashram. And whose ashram? They've arrived at the ashram of sage Medha. Okay, so setting the characters, the storyline, the plot, and everything. King Surata and his friend Vaishya Samadhi find themselves both, they didn't know each other before, but they have both found themselves at the ashram of sage Medha. King Surata and Vaishya Samadhi are listening to the teachings of the Durga Saptashati given by sage Medha. They are being instructed in wisdom, instructed in worship of the Divine Mother by sage Medha. So sage Medha, King Surata, and Vaishya Samadhi. See, the thing is that King Surata had a huge kingdom with many, many riches, palace, royal court, land on land on land, farther than the eye can see. And his own ministers, his own generals, turned on him. They backstabbed him. They literally pulled the rug from underneath and took his kingdom. His own people he treated well. King Surata was a virtuous king. So he treated his people as subjects and generals and different directors. He treated everyone well, and yet they still took everything from him. And he goes to the ashram to seek help for the pain that he feels and the grief that he feels. The ashram is your place of refuge. The ashram is your place of sanctity, of retreat, of safety. You can always, whenever you're feeling doubt or fear, always seek the company of a spiritual personality. Anytime you're feeling doubt or fear, seek the company of your spiritual preceptor, your guru. This is what King Surata did. He had everything, and then it was all of a sudden taken away from him by the people he regarded as closest to him. Things confused you afterwards. Like, oh, that the good feeling and all that. Have to let it go and really learn the truth about this world process and about objects, etc., and experiences. At the same time, Vaishya Samadhi, in the name, you understand the purpose of this character in the story. Vaishya is one of the castes, which is the merchant caste. So his job is a merchant. And his name is Samadhi. And his family turned on him. So it was like the whole kingdom and the whole government of King Surata mutinied, and Vaishya Samadhi's family turned their backs on him, ousted him from the house, took everything and said goodbye. And so Vaishya Samadhi goes to the ashram of sage Medha. King Surata. Rata means your effort, your purushartha. You can hear rata there. Purushartha, self-effort, and surata. So rata is your effort, and su is good, true, or pure. So King Surata puts his efforts in the proper way. This is the soul. In the whole Durga Saptashati and whole Maha Devi worship, King Surata represents the soul, you. And Vaishya Samadhi is his friend, his servant, right? If you serve each other, you're friends and help each other. So your friend and servant is Vaishya Samadhi, which means merchant. And why is the friend or the servant of the soul a merchant? Because Samadhi, he who practices or she who practices concentration, meditation, and Samadhi knows the market. Knows the market of which types of meditations will lead you away from consciousness and self, and which types of meditations will lead you toward pure consciousness and the self. So Samadhi potential knows very well what types of thoughts and movements and projects and places to go with the friend, the soul. Soul and Samadhi come together. Samadhi knows the market of how much attention, your only currency, your attention is your most valuable currency. It's what you are able to spend right now, currency. And Samadhi knows where to put it to get the most ROI. Is to put it in dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Concentration, meditation, and samadhi. So Samadhi is going to lead King Surata in the proper direction. And they are both friends who are listening to the teachings of sage Medha at the ashram. And story commences. And ancient times, the gods and the demons are fighting. And this is God with a lowercase g. Not absolute God, not absolute Brahman, but gods, millions of gods. Each god for a different function. People ask, why does this have so many millions of gods? Well, there's for every purpose and every activity in your life, there's a God. Let's just understand this. So, very simple that all of these gods, the good side, the gods are the good side and the demons are the bad side, and they are fighting each other in an eternal, long, everlasting battle. And the gods end up being defeated. The demons end up overtaking the gods and their positions, their posts. So the post of the sun god is shine light on this solar system. Water god to provide the waters all around, etc., etc. So all these posts, which used to be channels of goodness, channels of harmony, divine harmony, are now channels of demoniac disharmony. The very same sun causes burning on the skin, right? The wind is blasting. So it doesn't feel cool and gentle like when the gods were there and there was harmony around in the universe. When demoniac forces rose too much, what do we see? And when we suffer, when we feel unhappy and in pain, we've seen disharmony arise in our life. The powers of the forces of disharmony have increased. And when we are feeling peaceful and conscious, whole, aware, loving, the powers of harmony have increased. So now in the storyline, disharmony, demoniac qualities and virtues have begun increasing. And now all of the posts of the entire universe has been replaced from gods to demons. And the gods, seeing how much chaos is raining down on the world and on people all over the place, how much struggle and don't have to go in that way. We already know, we can already understand. They go and they seek the gods, they seek Brahma, they seek Vishnu, and they seek Maheshwar, Shiva. So these are now the God, capital G, Brahman. But Brahman with form and with qualities, okay? Saguna Sakar Brahman is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. And all the gods, especially to Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva, say, we have lost our positions. We need your help. We are invoking your power and your absolute existence, consciousness, bliss, lordship to help us in defeating the demons. Remember this whole yogic movement. We have to overcome obstacles, demoniac forces, demoniac qualities, which dampen the soul, lessen the soul. We want to lighten and raise the soul. So the gods have gone to Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva asking for help in destruction of demons, destruction of negative qualities. What are the 3 obstacles that stand in our way? Our minds have 3 main defects, and any pursuit, any direction you wish to go in your life Whether it's a material project or a spiritual project, you will have these three defects because these are the three defects of the mind of every human personality, which must be corrected through yoga. And who is there to help you in this movement? It's the goddess, it's the Devi, it's Ma Durga, it's Ma Lakshmi, and it's Ma Saraswati. And you will learn through the teachings of Navratri how to invoke and how they are automatically invoked when you encounter these obstacles. What did the gods do? Number one, you should go. What did they do? They 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 understood where they were, the predicament they were in, the problem, right? They understood the problem and they sought the divine. They sought the highest self for help in that problem. When your lower self is encountering an obstacle or a distraction, ignorance, illusion, or impurity, you seek the help and the guidance and the assistance of your higher self. And who represents that but the spiritual preceptor, the guru, sage Medha, the goddess. So you seek the goddess, you seek the guru, and you are going to be given and bestowed infinite blessings. Infinite blessings to remove and overcome infinite amount of obstacles. The path to perfection has many, many pitfalls and snares along the way. Ones that are obvious and ones that are not so obvious. So the three defects, the three main obstacles are impurity. Gross impurities like anger, lust, greed, delusion, infatuation, pride, and jealousy. So spiritual life is impossible if you keep these impurities. So they must be removed by Durga. Durga operates at your Kriya Shakti center. So these three goddesses are awakened at your three centers. And now, instead of being allegorical, we're actually talking about more literal things now. Instead of shift your mind from the allegorical storyline to now actual centers which correspond to the solar plexus of nerves, the cardiac plexus, and the carotid or cavernous plexus. Three centers, three Shaktis. Shakti means force or strength or energy. Cosmic energy is female. She is awakened in your solar plexus, known as Kriya Shakti. This is your activity. What was the first defect? Impurities. Impurities show up where? In our actions. Actions are muddied by the impurities in your Kriya Shakti. So there's a knot, it's called a Granthi. And in order for your Kundalini, your wisdom, your mind to ascend from food, drink, and sex alone, your mind must ascend, and those first chakra, second chakra, third chakra is where your Kriya Shakti is, where Durga Devi is awakened. And this allows your pran and your Kundalini to keep ascending from food, drink, and sex alone. So now this is the first center. That's why Durga Devi is the first goddess to be awakened. Durga Devi Durga. Durga is implying Durgati. Durga removes Durgati. So where does Durga's name coming from? Durgati means that which makes your sadhana, your spiritual practice, difficult. That which makes all of your life difficult. That's what's known as Durgati. That means that you're far away from reaching your goal, literally, Durgati. Durga makes Durgati, removes Durgati, removes that which keeps you far away from your goal. That's Durga. And what kept you far away from the goal? Impurities, gross impurities. And these gross impurities came from where? From the demons Madhu and Kaitaba. Madhu and Kaitaba are the two demons that Durga slays in the first episodes of the Durga Saptashati in Navratri festival. In first 3 days, in first 3 nights, Durga is slaying Madhu and Kaitaba. And Madhu means raga, attachment. And Kaitaba means dvesha, hatred. It is from attachment and hatred that all of the gross impurities come. It's from attachment and aversion that we get anger. Why are we angry? Because something has gotten in between us and what we are attached to. Greed, etc., and lust, agitation, illusion, delusion, pride, and jealousy. These all come from Madhu and Kaitaba, raga and dvesha, attachment and hatred. And they are removed, they are slain, destroyed by Durga, Durga Devi. Now, next obstacle, next defect is distraction. Because you want to go on the path of yoga, but the path is full of mud. The path is blocked. The path is blocked. So you must remove those impediments and those impurities first in order to begin treading the path to self-realization. That's Durga movement. You must clear out the gross impurities and the mud. Kriya Shakti. Now, once the path has been cleared, you start to waver on the path. You start to be, oh, what if that other path over there? Oh, his path or her path, right? And you start to get distracted. Oh, am I sure on the right path? All kinds of things the mind gets distracted by is your second obstacle. And therefore the second goddess is invoked. Remember, these gods went to Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva, and with their most heartfelt, sincere, genuine prayers for oneself, for themselves, they wanted their own posts back, right? And for the world, they saw how much suffering was going on in all the 3 levels, 3 worlds. So they made the most sincere and heartfelt prayer to Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva. And Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva's eyes begin to light up and their face begins to light up and light begins to pervade their whole embodiment. And then everyone else realizes that they themselves are filling up with light and shining, and this is the atmosphere of satsanga that's created. Everyone in the atmosphere of satsanga is charged with a mystic, heightened spiritual charge of their soul. And that heightened awareness, that heightened nearer. You're getting nearer and nearer and nearer to your essential self. That began to become awakened in every one of the satsangis, and including in the one giving the satsanga. Everybody's minds and hearts are giving a special shine in satsanga. Only one and only place that this happens, and this is the atmosphere and setting of satsanga. So, as all the gods, I mean all the gods, are gathered, and they have all prostrated to the highest self, the God, Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva, of course, God according to your own concept, understanding, and faith. Those lights began to combine from Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu, and from all the satsangis and all the gods gathered there. Those lights formed and combined into appearance of Lakshmi Devi, the second goddess, which is to remove distraction. And we will invoke a special verse for meditation upon Mahalakshmi. Om Aksharak Parashum Gadeshu Kulisham Padmam Danushkundikam Dandam Shaktimasi Chadharma Jalajam Gantam Sura Bhajanam Shulam Pasha Sudarshane Jatadatim Haste Prasananam Seve Sairi Bhamardanim Ha Mahalakshmim Sarojastitam. I worship Goddess Mahalakshmi, who is seated on the lotus, possessing a cheerful face, the destroyer of the demon Mahishasur, who holds in her hands rosary or mala, axe, mace, arrow, thunderbolt, lotus, bow, pitcher, rod, spear, sword, shield, conch, bell, wine cup, trident, noose, and the discus, Sudarshan Chakra discus. Alright. Om. I adore, I prostrate, I worship Goddess Mahalakshmi, who is seated on the lotus, possessing a cheerful face, the destroyer of demon Mahishasur, and who holds in her 18 hands all those tools. These are the tools which the spiritual aspirant is given in your heroic movement, in your journey from ignorance to knowledge, from darkness to light, and from death to immortality. In your journey, you are given many tools, and these tools are depicted in the 18 hands of Mahalakshmi. Remember, Lakshmi gives you the means, the material prosperity, as well as the spiritual prosperity. Okay, so this is a battle between now at this level, Anahata Chakra. First we were in Manipura Chakra. Now we're in Anahata Chakra, heart center. Where is called Icha Shakti, because this is called Kriya Shakti, Kriya actions. Icha Shakti, desires. And it is because our desires are impure that we get distracted. If we were to purify our desire, it would become a one-pointed mind, ekagrata, right? And that desire would be the desire for the blessed goal of life. But instead, When we start treading that path of the blessed goal of life, we get distracted. Thus is the working of the demon Mahishasur. And what kind of demon is Mahishasur? Mahish means buffalo. So this is buffalo distraction. So imagine a buffalo is how easily they're different color, right? Red color makes this way, and yellow color makes this way, purple color makes this way. Wants to go and bang on a tree, and then the buffalo only knows one thing is to bang on that tree and doesn't see the ditch it's going to fall into on the way to the tree. This is the kind of buffalo mentality that we live our lives with and we suffer from. We do not reach our goals because of that buffalo headed mentality. So Mahish means buffalo, and Asur, Mahishasur is the name of the demon. Why I tell you all of this is because no name, as you've understood King Surata, Surata means good, truthful, pleasant actions, right? No name mentioned in any of the yoga scriptures is by accident, is by chance. These are all specific teachings. So the demon Mahishasur, Mahish is buffalo, and Asur. Anytime you put a before, it's not. So himsa is violence. Ahimsa means non-violence. Sur means harmony. Asur means disharmony. So Mahishasur, buffalo that causes demoniac disharmony, demon that causes disharmony, distraction. Okay, all of that, Mahishasur means distraction. And Mahalakshmi is fighting against Mahishasur, and she is the destroyer of Mahishasur. Spoiler alert. The goddess wins. And the goddess slays the demon every single time. Demons don't stand a chance against the goddesses, the highest self. Yoga. You thought karma was powerful? Yoga is more powerful. So, this is a battle between the Asuri Sampats. Asuri, demoniac, devilish qualities, such as those of the kleshas, ignorance, egoism, attachment, hatred, and fear. That's on the demoniac side. It's like when they announce the teams. They're now announcing egoism, ignorance, attachment, hatred, and fear of death. That's one part of the team. The other part is vikaras, plus anger, plus lust, plus greed, plus jealousy, delusion, and pride. And so on and so on. More of the animal-like or demoniac, devilish qualities are there. And what are the Daivi Sampat? What are the divine qualities that which Lakshmi movement in yoga? When you are ascending the heights of yoga, and you are now in the stage of purification of your heart, it's Lakshmi movement. And this, what are the first virtues written in the Bhagavad Gita, the central scripture of all of yoga? And when the central scripture of all of yoga starts to list divine qualities, what are the very first ones? Abhayam Sattva Sanchuddhi Jnana Yogi Yoga Vigastita. Abhayam, fearlessness. Fearlessness is the first divine quality mentioned in the yoga scripture. Abhayam Sattva Sanshuddhi. Abhayam Sattva, purity, Sanshuddhi, purity of your heart, purity of your mind, purity in every dealing of your thoughts, of your words, and of your desires, your feelings. That's Abhayam Sattva Sanshuddhi, fearlessness, purity of heart, purity of mind. Jnana yoga vivastiha, to abide in steadiness of wisdom, to be steadfast in the wisdom of yoga. Patience, generosity, humility, compassion, and so on and so on are the teen Devis, team divine. And these two are always going to fight. This battle, that's why in storyline you're given in story, but this battle is one that continues in all of our lives. The battle between Asuri Sampat, demoniac qualities, and Suri Sampat, Daivi Sampat, divine qualities. So, in this satsanga, Mahalakshmi, by the way, Mahalakshmi is the deity of all satsangas. This is why we're giving focus on Mahalakshmi. We've got 9 nights to cover in one. This is known as Vijaya Dashmi. Today is the special day, 10th day. Today is day 10, and it is known as the Vijaya Dashmi, the victory of the soul. Once you've done 3 days of Durga, and 3 days of Lakshmi, and 3 days of Saraswati, Kriya Shakti, Icha Shakti, and now Jnana Shakti, all these Shaktis lead to enlightenment. Vijaya Dashmi. Jaya means victory, absolute victory. Dashmi, 10th day. 10th day is the day of victory, victory of the soul. So, Asuri Sampat will lead you to repeated embodiments, suffering and repeated embodiments. Daivi Sampat will lead you to material prosperity and spiritual powers. Suffering through repeated embodiment is defeat, and material prosperity and spiritual powers is victory. You tell me which one you want. Do you want all of the demoniac qualities which lead to suffering through repeated embodiments and defeat? Or do you want all of the divine qualities which lead to material and spiritual prosperity and eternal victory, absolute victory? So, this is now the continuation of insights into Mahalakshmi. Okay, so in the whole satsanga atmosphere, Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva and all of the gods and all of the attendees of the satsanga had this light, and that light emerged from each participant and each member that was present, and it combined and formed into the effulgent light, the effulgent form, effulgent radiance of Mahalakshmi. And where did she get all this effulgence from? Well, I will read you very quick points about the gods and where she got her effulgence and her radiance from, all pervading. This means that Mahalakshmi's effulgence is pervading the 3 lokas, the 3 planes. The 3 planes are your plane of practical reality, your physical plane. Second plane of your sentimental reality. First is the physical plane, practical reality. Sentimental plane, apparent reality. Third plane, causal plane, or the understanding, the plane of your understanding. So these 3 lokas, these 3 dimensions, our whole life experience is on these 3 planes. The plane of our practical reality, the plane of our sentimental reality, and the plane of our understanding. Any change in life happens in those 3 planes. So, Mahalakshmi goes and rattles up those three planes. She brings light through these three planes. Her effulgence, her radiance pervades all three planes. There's not a single place in this universe where Mahalakshmi's blessings cannot find you. This is the teaching. Okay, so the Shiva, these gods and goddesses, are giving Mahalakshmi her effulgence. Shiva gave her her face. Yama, the god of death, gave her her black hair. This means that there's no more fear of death. When the very god of death, the lord of death, gives the hair for Mahalakshmi, this is to be understood in a mature way. Vishnu gave the arms. Indra gave the body or the torso. Chandra gave the breasts. Varuna, Chandra is the god of the moon. Varuna, the god of the water, gave the thighs and the hips. Bhumi Devi, the god of earth, gave the buttocks, the seat, the base of the personality. You see where this is going, right? This God who governs and controls all of earth plane, all of material reality, gives Lakshmi her base of her personality, her seat, which is connected with the earth. Right? So whole universe is held within this goddess. That's what the teaching is. The whole purpose and the whole functions of the universe. Lord Brahma gives the feet and joints of the fingers. Surya gives the fingers. Kubera gives the nostrils or nose. Kubera literally means treasure. The Lord Kubera, the god named Kubera, means treasure. So what this means when Lord of Treasure gives the nose and nostrils means you are able to smell out the truth anywhere it is. Devi helps you to seek out and obtain those sources of truth, sources of satsanga, in and amongst kusanga, in and amongst negative association. When there's negative association, you call upon Lakshmi Devi and you'll go and find yourself in satsanga once more. That's Kubera giving the nose. Prajapati, the god of the animals and creatures, gave the teeth. Agni gave 3 eyes. Agni's fire. Sandhya gave the eyebrows. Vayu gave the ears. Vayu's wind. Okay. So all of these gods welcomed the Devi, welcomed Lakshmi when her form was created, and offered her, gave her offerings, gave her things of value to them. But of course you give that which is most valuable generously to your god or goddess. You put that, what you consider the highest, should be given, and that alone should be given to your higher self. What you feel is the best of the best, the cream of the crop, that you should give to your higher self. That you should put into your sadhana, your yoga practice. So these gods came bearing gifts. Remember the gifts? All the offerings? Who holds in her 18 hands the rosary, the axe, the mace, the arrow, thunderbolt, lotus, pitcher, bow, rod, spear, sword, shield, conch, bell, wine cup, trident, noose, and discus? What? Trishul, the trident. 3 prongs given by Lord Shiva. What do the 3 prongs do? They awaken you from sleeping, from being ignorant about who you are, in which planes. Waking state, dreaming state, and deep sleep state. They're supposed to awaken you to self-realization in each of those 3 states. That's the trident, the Trishul, in Mahalakshmi's hand, given by Lord Shiva, who destroys that triad, destroys the illusion of that triad. This is, we've talked about it before, but a very profound topic is waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, and the self being shining in and through all three states. The self is shining in and through all three states, but that self is different from who you consider the waker, who you consider the dreamer, and who you consider the deep sleeper. Because, here's the proof. When you're in deep sleep, there's no mind and no body. There's not even a dream mind and not even a dream body. There's just a blankness. But when you wake up, you feel refreshed. And you feel great. And you say, oh, I slept so soundly, I just didn't know a thing. I knocked out. It was lights out, right? How would you remember if there was no mind and no body? How would you remember that blankness, that period in which that you knew nothing? It's because the real self, your pure consciousness, is shining in and throughout all three states. It's shining in the waking state, it's shining in the dreaming state, and it's shining in the deep sleep state. So in deep sleep, you're not having an absence of an experience. You're having the experience of absence. And there has to be an experiencer, a pure consciousness, there in order to experience it without a mind and without a body. That's the real self. That's what the Trishul is for. That's what the trident is for, to poke you into that reality, that understanding. The axe is for chopping down the tree of kleshas, the tree of pain and suffering. Axe of knowledge. Axe in Mahalakshmi's hand. The Sudarshan Chakra is given by, of course, Lord Vishnu, who sublimates vices and gross impurities as well. The Sudarshan Chakra is a cosmic weapon that when the heads of vice, the heads of impurity, the heads of distraction, the heads of ignorance come, Sudarshan Chakra comes in and chops the head off. Okay. That's the Mahasudarshan Chakra. The conch shell, the Shank, is given by Varuna, the god of the water. This conch arises out of water, conch shell. And this symbolizes awakening. Awakening to your self, your divine self, who you are. Shakti, weapons, were given by Agni, the lord of fire, for infallible strength. For you are not only led by the divine. In the first stage, you may say, okay, divine, I am your servant. I serve you. So I'm going to be led by you. And then in the advanced stage, you are that divine self. So there's nothing that you cannot overcome. There's no obstacle you cannot surmount. There's nothing stronger than you. You have the infallible strength of Shakti given by Agni. There is a bow, arrow, and quivers. Bow, arrow, and quivers held by Mahalakshmi, given by Vayu, the lord of the wind, god of the wind. And the bow is Sankalpa. Sankalpa means pure will. And pure will fires arrows of pure thoughts. And what were the two quivers? Saguna Brahman and Nirguna Brahman. Saguna Brahman, Brahman with qualities, God with qualities, and Nirguna Brahman, God without qualities, without form. So you're taking arrows of pure thoughts and stringing them on the bow of pure will and firing at the target. Enlightenment, liberation, freedom, moksha. The gada is a mace. It's like a hammer. And that means abhyasa, repeated effort that you put into your spiritual practice. Again and again, every day you meditate. Oh, if I meditated yesterday, why meditate today? Gada, because the nail, every time you hit it, it's getting stronger and stronger into the board. And then you have to maybe miss the nail a couple times, and until the nail is stuck. That's gada. Keep hammering it until it sticks. This truth. It's not just to be entertainment. It's, of course, sattvic. Satsang is the most sattvic entertainment there is, the most pure entertainment, but it's also meant to be going deeper than that. There is a Ritambara Pragya, a cloud, as we mentioned in the beginning, cloud that is lit up by the mind of wisdom, the mind of intuition. The wine cup holds Amrita, nectar of immortality, nectar of Vedanta. The thunderbolt given by Lord Indra is for the explosive spiritual force that is inside of all of us. We all have an explosive spiritual force, dormant. That is symbolized by thunderbolt in Mahalakshmi's hands. The bell, Ganta, bell, awakens you, awakens your senses to the truth that is going to enter through your senses. Danda, the rod given by the Lord of Death, King of Death, Yama, gives the rod, and that rod, again, pokes you to move away from repeated embodiment, to move away from repeating suffering, and move toward the end of suffering, the termination of suffering. It's your rod that pokes you. Pash, the noose. The noose is like a tool that ropes something and takes hold of something. So the noose is from Varuna, the Lord of Water, and that is to restrain evil. You put the noose around the neck of evil, and you have control of that evil. The mala, the crystal rosary, the malas, from Prajapati, the Lord of the animals, is to remove your animal-like nature, the gross impurities that make us more like animals instead of human beings. This is to signify devotion. Kamandalu, the water pot, was given by Lord Brahma for your creativity and skill. Water is able to move in every crack and every way, up and down, left and right, utilizes all of its ability, its flexibility, its adaptability and skill to be where it needs to be where it wants to be. This is for you. And the radiance given by the sun god gives that pure white or pure golden white light of her skin. And this light of the skin is signifying Tejas. Tejas, Ojas, and Virya. Tejas is your brilliance, your auric glow. Ojas is that ability by which your speech is able to connect with the hearts of all you speak to. It's your way of speaking and the tone and the energy and the intention of your voice that goes from the ears to the heart to the soul of the listener. That's called ojas. I know there's those of you who are in here for yoga teacher training, you will hear your students tell you often, sometimes, it sounded like the whole entire class you were speaking to me. Sounded like everything you said was you were saying it to me. This is the power of ojas. This is the ability for you to connect with every single mind and heart, no matter what you're saying is one thing, and it connects with all different hearts and minds. Tejas is your brilliance, your glow. Because of your purification of your pranas, your body and your skin has an aura. And virya is the spiritual strength we get from control of our sexual seed, our sexual energy. When we control it, utilize it in the proper way, we get virya, we get increasing strength, potency for spirituality. Oh, we got a couple more tools for our spiritual development, our spiritual movement. The shield. You can't forget the shield, which is the armor of grace. Armor of grace. In the Bhagavad Gita, it says that the Atman, the self, cannot be burnt by any fire, cannot be dried by any wind, cannot be burnt by any fire, and cannot be pierced by any sword. Did I repeat one? Burnt by any fire, right? And cannot be wet, moistened by any water. So, you are wearing a shield of grace when you identify with the Atman, which cannot be burnt by any fire, cannot be pierced by any sword, cannot be wet by any water. That's your shield, your self-identity. When we identify with this fleshy self, oh yeah, it's definitely piercing. Piercing can happen here. Swords can pierce any place of this self. But this is not who you are. When you identify with your real self, you are immutable, impenetrable. And the sword and the shield and the sword are both given, two gifts from Kala, the god of time, the spirit of time. The spirit of time has given you the shield of grace and the sword of subtle intellect. You must be able to cut through that which is not self, that which leads you away from the self, and that which is self. You must be able to cut through with the sword of subtle intellect. And the ornaments and the clothing was given by this god right here, the Sheshanag, the snake serpent god, which is churning the milky ocean. That god gave the clothing and the ornaments to signify Lord Mahalakshmi's purity, Mahalakshmi's purification. All the ornaments, all the jewels and ornamentation and the beautiful clothing is to symbolize purity, purification. Never were you without any of these tools. But one thing had to change, and that is that you must be told that you have them. You must learn that you have these tools, and that these tools are inherent within you, because they are the attributes and the tools of the highest self within you. Now, developing skill by wielding these tools defeats Mahishasura. Distractions have been rended asunder. Now, the last defect is ignorance. And the last goddess Ma Saraswati. Ma Saraswati defeats Shumba and Nishumba. Shumba and Nishumba are the two demons that Saraswati defeats, and the Shumba Nishumba means I-ness. Shumba's I-ness, meanness, and Nishumba means mindness. So there's distinct meanness and mindness. It's not from egoism. First is ego, I-ness, and next is that mindness that comes. See, not sometimes you have flaring up ego in both of these. Shumba and Nishumba are flaring up, but not always. Sometimes just the ego flares. Me, I. Right? But then sometimes when Nishumba is not flaring, sometimes when Shumba is not flaring, Nishumba is flaring. Mindness. My possessions, my this and my that, right? So these two demons, meanness and mindness, are slain at the final level, at the Agya Chakra level. In Jnana Shakti is put in harmony. Your Jnana Shakti is that cosmic energy which is being channeled into your thinking and your knowing faculty. That which you think and that which you know is being put in harmony, in movement, along with Saraswati Devi. And now all three defects have been removed and all demons have been defeated, have been destroyed. And all the gods return back to their posts, and goodwill and harmony now reign. This whole festival and this whole mystic insights into the worship of the Divine Mother in the form of Durga Devi, Lakshmi Devi, and Saraswati Devi is like if your tasks are to see yourself in who you are. But in order to see yourself for who you are, the very first level is to use a mirror, right? To see yourself, to understand yourself, to know yourself. Use a mirror. The first problem of the mirror, first defect, it's dirty. So we clean the mirror. This is Durga Devi. This is Kriya Shakti. Kriya Shakti Durga Devi removes the malas, gross impurities, from your mirror. As you began to clean your mirror, it began to shake. As you started hitting away those dirt, hitting away the mud, your mirror began shaking. So, cannot see yourself clearly, and for as long as you want, and to understand, to get the knowledge you must get, the mirror is shaking. Distractions, vikshepa, is removed at the anahata level by Lakshmi Devi. Now the mirror is fixed. It's no longer dirty, and it's no longer shaking. But there's a thin veil that covers the mirror, a very thin veil. And this is the veil of ignorance, the last defect. Ignorance in the form of Shumba and Nishumba, meanness and mindness, are negated by Saraswati Devi at the Agya Chakra level. Jnana Shakti. Jnana Shakti, Icha Shakti, Kriya Shakti. Durga Devi, Lakshmi Devi, Saraswati Devi. And now you see yourself and you can put down the mirror. Because even staying with gods, goddesses, lower self, higher self, means duality. Means you still, Brahman, the absolute reality, is beyond the gods, demons, goddesses, likes, dislikes, asuri sampat, daivi sampat, negative virtues, divine virtues. Your absolute nature, enlightenment, is beyond even the gods and goddesses. So you used the mirror to see your own nature. First, cleaning, karma yoga, purification of your actions, removes the selfishness and the dirt, the impurity of the action. First, you clean the mirror. Second, that mirror started shaking. You just can't believe what you're seeing. It starts to shake. Hitting it at more gross impurities. Lifetimes of impurities are on this mirror. It takes a good whack, and that good whack causes the mirror to shake. Now you fix the mirror by removing the distractions with Raja Yoga, yoga of meditation, and Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion, yoga of feeling. And now your mirror has become firm, fixed. And the last is the thin veil of ignorance that is covering the mirror but making the image distorted. Ignorance, ego, distorts reality, distorts your true self. You remove that veil with Jnana Yoga, the yoga of wisdom. And now you see yourself, your nature, as Sat Chit Ananda, existence, consciousness, bliss, and you put down the mirror. Self-realization. Victory! Victory of the soul! So, Shakti, Bhakti, and Mukti blessings are with all of you. My choicest blessings and Guru's choicest and most profound blessings are with all of you. And may all of your endeavors and projects be without obstacles. May all obstacles be removed from those projects. May Karuna, Maya Rasa, the shower of grace in the form of compassion, bathe you, and may all satsanga and all of your practice lead you to the blessed goal of life, the goal for every soul, mukti. So always remember triple blessings for Shakti, strength, Bhakti, faith, and Mukti, liberation. Closing prayers. And with this we'll conclude. Om Om Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvata Sadike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Dhum Durgaye Namah. Om Shri Mahalakshmiye Namah. Om Aim Saraswatye Namah. Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvadukamiva Bandhanan Mrityurmukshya Mam Ritat. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Shantu Niramaya Sarve Badrani Pashantu Ma Kaschit Dukhabhag Bhavet Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurmamritam Gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishate. Shanti, Shanti. शांति। हरि ओम तत्सत। ओम श्री गुरुवे नमः। नमस्ते।